The following program is an original production of WICC PBS Chicago.
Governor Rauner makes an historic speech to Chicago aldermen, pushing a partnership to turn state finances around. Are city Democrats buying the Republican governor's agenda?
The Illinois economy is still lagging as much of the country recovers from the Great Recession. One reason, the growing numbers of underemployed workers juggling 2 or 3 part-time jobs just to make ends meet.
Plus, a unique program that gives young men and old neighborhoods a second chance. That and much more tonight on In the Loop.
Good evening. I'm Chris Bury.
And I'm Barbara Pinto. Unemployment is on the decline, but there are still a large number of workers who have yet to recover from the recession.
They are the underemployed. And here in Illinois, they are now a huge part of the labor market. Thousands of Illinois residents, often with strong credentials and college degrees, stuck in part-time, low-paying jobs. Wanda Evans Brewer has always had a passion for teaching.
I'm the full package. I started off as a preschool teacher. I went on to teach a little bit of elementary school. I went about 16 years, 17 years as a high school teacher, and eventually I had an interest in transitioning into higher education.
That led her to Capella University, where she earned a doctorate in professional studies in education. With 19 years of teaching in public schools, a master's degree, and a Ph.D., Evans Brewer thought she could write her own ticket. Instead, she faced a different reality.
I consider myself chronically underemployed. I never say it without saying chronic.
3 years after getting her Ph.D., the 48-year-old says she is still looking for a good-paying job. Now she juggles part-time positions, working as an adjunct professor at 2 universities. But the pay is poor. Last year she took in only $27,000, not nearly enough to support herself and her 3 children. To get by, she also offers conferences, rents 2 rooms of her home, and babysits. But she also depends on help from the government, getting food stamps, Medicaid, and subsidized daycare for her 4-year-old. Evans Brewer has joined the 7 million workers across the U.S. who are underemployed, highly skilled workers stuck in low-paying jobs.
I'm literally back to the salary I was when I was in my early 20s, fresh out of college.
As a struggling professor, she has a hard time telling her students that their investments in higher education will pay off financially when she relies on an Illinois card that allows her to pay for food stamps.
I feel like a hypocrite that I sit in front of them and I tell them about the right living and moral choices and great judgment. I tell them about being persistent and becoming a scholar practitioner. And I'm, in fact, getting a, link card.
Michael Lucci, Director of Jobs and Growth for the Illinois Policy Institute, says underemployment can often go underreported.
There are people who work part-time, even though they want to work full-time. Those people are underemployed. There are also people who are giving up on looking for work because they can't find anything part-time or full-time, and they also fall into this category of underemployed people.
The category includes everyone from recent college graduates still looking for work to experienced, skilled professionals who can't find jobs to match their credentials.
In Illinois, it's a very big problem. What we have in Illinois is we have the underemployment. When you add the underemployed people, the part-time workers, our rate of unemployment goes to 12%.
The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics shows the state has a staggering 12% underemployment rate, which is double the unemployment rate. It's the second highest underemployment rate in the Midwest after Michigan.
It's really an economic problem. People aren't finding opportunities here. Entrepreneurs don't find this to be a good place to start a business, so they are simply leaving the state or they're being left with not good opportunities here.
Experts say underemployment started to rise in 2008 during the recession. Since then, the labor market has never fully recovered. The National Employment Law Project reports that more low-wage jobs have been created. The report says in 2014, 44% of all job growth took place in low-wage industries, such as restaurants, hotels, administrative occupations, and other service jobs. Tom Gimbel, president of the staffing and recruiting firm LaSalle Network, says changes in the job sector have made it difficult for experienced, well-qualified professionals, such as Evans Brewer, to find good-paying jobs.
Having more education doesn't make you more employable, right? And just because you could have 5 degrees, and it doesn't mean that you are worth $500,000 or $150,000, and not having a degree doesn't mean that you're not worth that money. It's what you bring to the table.
But Evans Brewer feels cheated after spending decades developing her skills and advancing her education at enormous personal expense. She believes educators are no longer valued as they once were.
If teaching is the noblest of professions, which is what we've always said it is, and every single human being has to go through a teacher, there's no one that escapes a teacher, we need to get this right. We need to fix this.
To make matters worse, this week, state officials reported Illinois companies plan to cut about 1,100 jobs in the state this month, including hundreds here in Chicago. Now, here's Barbara with a look at Governor Rauner's historic address to the City Council and the million-dollar question: exactly where in Chicago will the Obama Presidential Library land?